live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. On a Thursday, I'm reminded constantly. I have a group of buddies that I hang out with on a regular basis, and one of them is hypercritical because nothing I ever do is good enough for this guy. He used to be, I considered him at one time one of my best friends, and now I'm not even sure if he likes me or not a whole lot. But, that's part of what happens when guys hang out with guys. And he's hypercritical of this show. Yet that makes me smile because that means he listens every day. So, okay. I'm okay with that. Just keep listening. Everybody that keeps listening if you're hypercritical, that's great, but keep listening. So, hey, this day in history, Prohibition comes to an end in 1933. After years of Prohibition, remember January 16th of 1920 when the 18th Amendment was put into effect, there hadn't been beer or anything sold, but on this day in 1933, April 7th, once again, beer is sold in 19 of the 48 states at the time and the District of Columbia. So Prohibition officially ended with the first beer sold in this country again after Prohibition. Happened on this day, April 7th, 1933. Also on this day in 1949, Rodgers and Hammerstein debuted their hit musical, South Pacific. The production continues to be a favorite among community theater groups, high school groups to this very day. Some of the best-loved songs from the musical include Bali High, Some Enchanted Evening, Younger Than Springtime, and A Wonderful Guy. But on this day, in April 7th of 1949, South Pacific appears for the first time on Broadway. In 1954, on this date in 1954, it's the first time anybody heard the phrase uttered Cold War when talking about Americanism versus communism. It was coined by President Dwight D. Eisenhower when he suggested the fall of French Indochina to the communists could create a domino effect in Southeast Asia. And that domino theory dominated U.S. thinking about French Indochina, or as you know it, Vietnam, for the next couple decades. If you let that one country fall, then the next country fall, then all of Southeast Asia will be communist. Well, we know that North Korea is communist, and we know that China's communist. Didn't seem to have that big of a domino effect like they thought. But Cold War was a phrase coined by Dwight D. Eisenhower on April 7th in 1954. I want to give you a program reminder again that tomorrow, Christian lecturer Steve Salt will be my guest at 10:35. What if we could find the good in life for which our hearts yearn is invulnerable to the surrounding events, that it's never actually on the line for any reason? Christian Science explains the incredible good endowed on us by God, a good all of us deserve and can even expect all the time. So be sure to tune in April 8th at 10:35 when Steve Salt will be my guest, and he gives us a reason for hope. So looking forward to that interview tomorrow. Give you birthdays for today. April 7th, director Francis Ford Coppola. He is 83 years young today. Francis Ford Coppola, as you know, was behind The Godfather. He is 83. John Oates of Hall & Oates fame. It's another reason I know I'm getting old, because Private Eye singer John Oates, Daryl Hall and John Oates were a big group in the late 70s, early 80s. John Oates turns 74 today. Stuntman extraordinaire, martial artist extraordinaire, and funny man extraordinaire. First time I ever got introduced to him was in Kung Fu pictures in the mid-70s when I was a little kid. he would be fighters in the Kung Fu movies. And then the next time I saw him was in Cannonball Run. He was part of the Japanese team that was racing in Cannonball Run. And then, of course, he did all the Rush Hour pictures with Chris Tucker. Today, Jackie Chan turned 68 years old. Man, Jackie Chan. And he looks as young now as he did, 30 years ago. And that jump he did where he kicked the two bikers in the face in Cannonball Run, where he did the split up and kicked them both in the face to the left and to the right. Jackie Chan, incredible stuntman, incredible martial artist, and just all-around funny guy. He really, really, really is a funny guy, and he showed that in the Rush Hour movies. Well, Jackie Chan is 68 today. Are you not entertained? Actor Russell Crowe, he's 58 today. He was in Gladiator, plus he was also in a Wonderful Mind. He was in L.A. Confidential, a movie that is undersold. L.A. Confidential, if you've never seen L.A. Confidential with Kim Basinger, it's a really, really good movie. And Russell Crowe plays a police detective in that movie. And he does a really good job in that movie as well. Russell Crowe is 58 today. And novelist and philanthropist Mackenzie Scott. Who? Well, you know better as the ex-wife of Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon. She turns 52 today. So happy birthday to Francis Ford Coppola, John Oates, Jackie Chan, Russell Crowe, and Mackenzie Scott. There's a new article in the American Medical Journal that says scientists now say up to 1/2 of all cancers are preventable. Up to half of all the cancers known to exist, half of them now scientists say are preventable. A survey had found recently that 90% of women do wedding planning while at work with their other female coworkers. They get a lot of their wedding planning done at work. And finally, in a survey, 32% of women, out of the 20,000 that were surveyed, 32% of them say a man's worst attributes is his manners at the table. The number one complaint that women have about men at the table, chewing with their mouths open. The number one complaint women have about men when they're out to dinner with them, when they're having dinner, they say their table manners are terrible, and the number one table manner that men do not exceed at is they chew with their mouth open, according to the 20,000 women, the 20,000 women, that were surveyed. So that according to Interprep. So, but again, happy birthday to one of the best directors in Hollywood, Francis Ford Coppola, the man behind The Godfather. I'd like to thank my guests, my callers, and all the people that listen, and our sponsors. Without you, none of this program would be able to be had. Until tomorrow, talk to you tomorrow.
WOCA AM, W242 CAFM, Ocala, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin disclosed in House testimony that the United States military is training Ukrainian soldiers in the United States to use armed drones to attack Russian tanks and other